What's up? I'm back. This segment, I'm going to talk about Fantastic Four and Fox, and the Fox Marvel Wars. This was a rumor that was out a while ago. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't believe it, but it just shows the current state of the comic industry, where Marvel recently announced they're gonna cancel Fantastic Four. I'm not even a fan of Fantastic Four. Never liked the comic. I don't like the characters. Invisible Woman is mildly okay. Anything else, anybody else, Sting, I'm not really a big fan of. Human Torch, definitely not. Franklin Richards was cool, like Franklin Richards. But in general, probably because he was a mutant. But in general, never been a really fan of it. But I always respected what it represented as a staple of the Marvel universe and in the comic, in general, comic history. For the most part. And it ending, and only because you could tell that Marvel just wants to spite Fox, whereas you see Fox definitely has plans to try and go toe to toe with Marvel. A mistake, no question. I think Fox is overplaying their hand, only for the fact that while X Men was my favorite comic book growing up, still is. I still have an attachment to the characters, and I actually always would root for X Men, but you can't. Fox doesn't really have out of X Men. Like the X Men universe is not really rich enough for Fox to really bang at Marvel. And then worse, there was rumors that Marvel's kind of putting the pressure on the X-Men writers not to even create new mutants, which would make sense because from what I heard, the X-Men comic has sucked for like years. And that would make sense. So you can't even really, so they could put the clamp on their future production in terms of making new characters, introducing new stories. So would have to depend on older stories. So for instance, Marvel Civil War is a fairly new concept for the most part. It's not a 20-year-old story. But Marvel could do Civil War, right? Because people don't really realize, even though the movies are where the bucks are at, the energy, the creative force is coming from the comics. So when you see Sony, for instance, Sony kind of looks like they might cave into Marvel. I'm going to talk about that in another segment. But I think with Fantastic Four ending, it just shows where Fox could think they could bang, it's not going to work. The only person Sony and Fox can't bang with Marvel. The only people who could is DC. And to be honest, I'm very critical of DC only for them because they're reacting. DC has far better villains than Marvel does. There's no reason why. I mean, DC is owned by Warner Bros. Like they don't even have to even compete with Marvel, right? In terms of movies, they got the anime on lock. They got a TV. Even though that's coming to an end, I predict the Netflix series of Marvel's can wipe out DC. Well, that's another story for now. But they come in and DC says we want to be the anti-Marvel. We want to make our movies dark, right? They're playing into a concept as a creator you can't play into. As a creator, you have to just make your creation. You have to make your products. The fans, man, I've heard people say I don't like Marvel movies. They're too kiddie-ish. You always gonna have some people who don't like your product, but going the complete end and say opposite end and say we're gonna be dark. You could be, but let's keep it real. If you want to be honest. X-Men, right? If you look at Marvel, I know X-Men is Fox in the movies, right? But let's just look at it from its totality. Marvel's always been kind of a dark universe. They introduced mutants. The whole mutant concept was kind of made for minorities, that at least inspired by that. They spoke about more real issues. Did they make up fantasy cities? They didn't even make their characters as powerful as DC. The nature of DC in itself, you will have problems going dark with that on big screen. Superman went dark. Right, the comic book audiences seem to like it. The mainstream was like so on Superman. Why? Because he's not really a dark character. Batman is, but you start getting to Aquaman and Wonder Woman, especially the Aquaman and Wonder Woman I see they casted. I just don't see it. But this is not about bashing DC. It's kind of about bashing Fox. At the end of the day, Fox gotta realize they got away with making a pretty good X-Men movie. I am not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it, but it was kind of made it from desperation. Apocalypse, you might be able to work with that, but let's keep it real. Can X-Men bang with Avengers? No. Can they bang with Iron Man? No. The Marvel products that they might be able to bang with is probably Captain America and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, when you can say Guardians of the Galaxy could bang with X-Men, it's like a person off your bench putting up just as much equal numbers as Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. You're not gonna win like that. So now you may say, well, Fox just wants to make money, which they can, and they have to make movies so they lose the licenses. They could, and I think they will be up and down. And I'll give Fox this: I mean, Fantastic Four is going to be disaster, but you can't really go wrong with X-Men. I think Fox is in better shape than Sony. Sony literally potentially could destroy the Spider-Man franchise. Seriously, Sony could destroy it completely. So I definitely would like. I have mixed feelings about Marvel taking over Spider-Man in terms of, well, not taking over, but being able to share it and focusing more on putting him in the Avengers. But I will cover that in another video. So I hope this helps. Till next time. Peace.